I have it at what, like just 7 o'clock, looks like. Calling the Monday, February 8th, 2021 meeting of the Ayer Board of Health to order. So, public input. I can't see if there's anyone up on the screen, and I do apologize for calling in tonight. I know it's better to deal with a face, so I'm going to try to make this just a one-time thing that I'm calling in. But do we have anyone for public input?
Doesn't look like it, yeah.
That sounds like a no. So,
No, doesn't look like it.
Okay. So in that case, then, let's move on to the continued public hearing for 96 East Main Street, application to operate a motel, submitted by Steve Wenzel, and this is for Mimi's Place, which was previously Chasm Manor Hotel. So just to kind of summarize where we are and what new information we have, at our last meeting, we had asked Mr. Wenzel and, or his attorney or through his attorney or however he wanted to do it, to provide us with a plan of action for how he plans to come into compliance or conformity with both the Massachusetts regulation and the Ayer bylaw for definition of a motel. So we did receive the information package that you sent in that was submitted by your attorney, Mr. Lilly, on February 2nd. So we are in receipt of that. And it also contains another thing we'd asked for was the motel policies and procedures. And we do have that. There is also a COVID-19 plan, which I didn't review in detail because I knew Bridget could just look at it and know what was right and wrong about it. And then there's also information on the relocation program that you want to get going in order to come into compliance. That's everything, right?
Yeah.
That we have, yep. I believe. Okay. So, and Steve and I know Bridget has, and Trish, you've had an opportunity to review the information submitted on February 2nd. Any thoughts, opinions?
I was curious I wanted to learn a little bit more about this relocation program. And it has to do with Fidelity Bank, and I know that Mr. Wetzel had said that he had reached out to Alan Minoyan, our Director of Community and Economic Development, and spoken to him and the Ayer Housing Authority. And I just was curious to see, is this like a joint effort to, you said this was an evolving program that you had looked into. Could you talk a little bit about that and how you think it would work for the guests at Chasm Manor?
Certainly. So this is Chris Lilly. I am here with Steve. We're in the same room. That's why we're both masked. We're on two different windows here. Okay. So Steve had put this together, a program that would enable people who are in need to find housing, giving them the ability and the tools to find that housing. So we enlisted the help of a number of people, including Fidelity Bank, which is going to sit down with people and give them tools about what to look for. We listed a number of seminars that are going to be provided for people as kind of an overall educational tool. In addition to that, we have Realtor Ron Morrison, who is willing to sit down with each and every one of our guests who have been there for an extended period of time and talk with them about their respective needs and about the programs that are available. and help them through that process. We also have, I believe Steve has been working with people to work out applications for various housing authorities. We have one application that's already been done with the town of Ayer. We have another guest who's a recent guest, has been kind of in and out of the place, but is awaiting housing out of Leominster. We've got a number of different options. We're kind of reaching out to a number of people that can help out. And as far as what we can have in place at this time, I think what we were able to get was quite a bit. But there's also the situation where Steve himself is providing $1,000 per guest unit for those who have been there for an extended period to help defray the cost of moving expenses.
Yeah.
And everybody that has been there, and you can take a look at the at what we listed on the program. That sheet is supposed to go up on the wall, and it does couch it in terms of qualified guests may be entitled to. Well, everybody in the short term here that we're talking about, as far as trying to move things, qualifies. Everybody that's been there for, let's say, 60 days or more qualifies to receive that. And that's the short term. I didn't put that down in the poster that's going to go up on the wall for, I think, obvious reasons as far as what happens going forward. Yeah. But I think that this is all part of what we're trying to do. So you have the incentive built in. You have the educational component. You have the one-on-one approach with people. I know Steve has spoken to the economic development director, who is looking to determine the extent to which he can help out. And we're still trying to flesh out that aspect of things, but it's kind of a growing program that I think is really what we're hoping Casa Manor is able to offer to this town and neighboring towns, as far as people that are looking for places to go. I mean, we have a Loaves and Fishes that deals strictly with food. Here we have a situation that deals with housing and assistance as kind of a transitional situation. So I think that this program, it's one of your corporate citizens offering a program that I think is going to be helpful to the public.
And you said this is evolving. This is how new is this through Fidelity? Has this been around for a while, or?
No, it hasn't. This is evolving because of what we've been doing here with the Board of Health.
Okay.
I think we've identified that there is an issue here that is exacerbated by the fact that we do have people that have been there for a long time, but it's exacerbated by the fact that we have this COVID situation. We have people that are unable to go somewhere, and if we make them leave, so to speak, they're out on the streets. Well, we don't want to put people out on the streets. We want to create a situation where they are able to move on. And
right. I absolutely agree.
I get.
So that is interesting, though. So these are new seminars or workshops that they're going to be putting together specifically for this situation. It's not something that Fidelity Bank just does on a routine basis. And
correct. So Steve has sat
got it.
with a member of Fidelity. Steve, what's his name? Jamie Burgoyne, who has agreed to sign on and is willing and I think is excited to get to do this. And I think it allows other entities other corporate citizens also to address a need in the community. I think this is a win-win situation for everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the fact that you've got a lot of input from different sources that can potentially help. So you're tied into affordable housing, you're tied into a bank that will help to work with people. There's a realtor. So those are all good things. I think this situation that we currently have is going to take kind of a community approach to really get it resolved and get you on the path to truly operating a motel.
Well, that's the idea, is to address these issues that Steve did inherit when he purchased the hotel back in September. But also that was kind of the expectation at that time, that's where what people were using the place for. Well, we don't want it to be used for that purpose, but to the extent that people are looking to this hotel as a place to go, well, we're not just providing a place to go, we're providing a program for people that are coming in that can allow them to move on and to help themselves along that path toward self-sufficiency.
Yeah, exactly. And the only comment that I have on the list of topics, and I know this might be a harder sell for the bank because they don't necessarily get, to initiate a loan because of this, but it seems that it would be helpful if you added something in about helping people just either budget or figure out how to put together a first and last, even if they just want to move into a standard apartment. Because buying a home is not the only way out.
I'm pretty sure
I agree that there should be a component that deals with budgeting. I thought we had been talking about that. Where that comes from, I don't know, but I agree that budgeting as an educational tool is important.
Okay, all right, that's good.
no job listing.
Oh, and we do have the job listing. Well.
Oh yeah, I did also notice that so your
yeah.
listing jobs right there at the motel.
Right. Yes.
Okay, great. And you're also posting rental listings.
Yes, rental listings and job listings, both of which should be updated at least weekly.
Great.
Steve.
Excellent.
Yeah, hi. Hi, Trish.
Hi.
Do we have an opinion from the Board of Health from the letter that from attorney?
You're glitching, Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I have a good signal, but do we have an opinion on the letter from the Board of Health?
The letter
From attorney?
from the attorney, yeah.
From town
Yeah.
council.
I'm going to turn off the video. Maybe it'll be better reception.
Maybe.
I can say that I did speak to town council today. She had asked me to forward a listing of the people that are currently there. And so we did provide that as of today, a listing of people who are there. I would ask that be protected to some extent. We didn't necessarily want to disseminate names, but I understood the need to have those names established so that as you review things going forward, it makes sense to be able to refer back to, well, who was there as of February 18th.
Right.
And length of stay.
Length of stay is specified in there. Most of it is estimated. To the extent that it's an extended length of stay, it has to be estimated. Otherwise, we are specifying what Steve understands as far as what people who have moved in, he's been there.
Yeah, okay.
Pam,
Okay.
can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yes, I can,
Well,
clearly.
that's an accomplishment on my part. Thank you.
I know, we're partway there.
Do we have an opinion from Neshoba or from the letter that Attorney Lilly sent?
I believe I will ask Bridget to provide us one at this point.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think the goal is to obviously move this facility in the direction of the hotel motel. And that's based on the timeframes, staying there, specified in state regulations, but also the Ayers zoning bylaws. So my opinion is if the board is going to issue a permit, it be only for 90 days, with specifications set by town council, that we see movement of individuals from the hotel motel, and then again, go back to what a hotel and motel would normally be, which is people staying there under I think it was the 90 days.
Yeah.
I guess my question, Bridget, is there anything in the letter that doesn't meet requirements that you see, or is there anything absent from the letter that we received from Attorney Lilly?
I mean, the letters, has some great points, but this is a hotel motel that was purchased and that's how it should be run. I didn't see any time frames specified in there when individuals would be moved out. And I think that's important for the board to look at.
Yep.
But
Yeah, I noted that too. Yeah.
as it relates to COVID and
So the COVID policy looked good in writing, but again, we have people that have been living there for, 3 years, 5 years, 2 years, 16 weeks. So if it was actually being run as a hotel motel, the COVID plan that is in place looks good.
and the register and the documentation and the postings, are you comfortable with what he
Yep.
has, they will do?
Yes.
Okay.
And you are keeping the guest register now, correct, Mr. Wenzel?
Yes, he is.
Okay. All right, great.
If this is to be a motel, hotel, I think, I can't remember if I had asked this before. You had said there is somebody on the premises during the day. What about at night? If people are, transient population, somebody comes to check in, is there anybody there at night?
You know,
I'm there from typically this time.
are you able to hear Steve's mic?
It's low. I can
Is
hear
it
you.
okay?
Yeah,
I'll
go
put
ahead,
mine
Steve.
on mute.
So you have somebody there during the day if somebody comes to the front desk and checks in, but at night, what would it look like if somebody came and checked in at night? Is there somebody there? Is it unlocked? Is there someone behind the desk? Is like a typical motel? Can't hear him.
No, I can't.
No.
I can say it. He's
Okay.
saying typically nobody is there overnight, but that he does come in after work for a couple of hours from what time to what time?
Okay.
Generally 5:30 to sometimes 7:30, 8:30.
5:30 to 7:30 or 8:30. And in the morning? In the morning, do you go as well?
I go in the morning just to check in.
He does go in the morning to check in as well. It's just the overnight is not
There's
is not currently populated there.
My phone number is there, and it
He does,
bounces to my cell phone at home.
he
So Pam,
does
can I ask a
leave
question?
emergency contact information there.
Okay. All right, I got you. And is there a website? Or are you listed on any other like travel websites or anything?
Okay.
No? Okay. All
You wanna
right.
come and talk here? I'm gonna have Steve use this mic here.
Yeah. So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
So I heard website. I do not have a website. I don't feel that I need one. You also have seen my degree of technology awareness. So if I have to run that thing, it
I
works.
hear you. I get that.
But there's also,
Yeah, I got it.
if you Google hotels, motels in Ayer, it shows up. So there's so much out there already. I talked to the
Yeah.
former owners because I was told that they had one. And the reason they got one is apparently Google had offered them a free one. They had never had one up until then, and that was shortly before they sold it to me. So, I mean, it's been around forever. Everyone knows it's there, so it's
Yeah.
mainly word of mouth.
So Steve, I think the question is, the former owners lived on the property, right?
Yes.
So there was never an issue with anything going on at night. And I just wondered if maybe Bridget or Pam could speak to this. Is it in the regulations to run a hotel motel? Should, like, typically if you're traveling and you want to pull over and get a room for the night, you check into a place and there's somebody there, and I'm wondering about the safety issues from this. If then there's nobody on the premises and there's all these rooms, and if somebody were to come in the middle of the night, they'd have to call you on your cell phone.
Yeah, so the way the former owners ran it, they were closed, I want to say from 10 at night till 9 in the morning. I believe
Okay.
that's right, but I could be off a little bit. So if someone came to the door wanting a room, they weren't answering it.
Yeah.
Pam?
I mean, they don't. I can understand. You know, you don't know who's going to be at that door at 2 in the morning trying to come in. So
Yeah.
I can
Yeah,
appreciate.
I can.
I mean, it's a small motel. It's not a big
Okay.
Holiday Inn or something. And
Yeah. No, it makes sense.
Just curious.
I get that.
yeah,
Pam?
I mean, I do have some interest in having somebody manage the property. I had mentioned that, I think, in the first meeting. I haven't found anybody that I feel I could do that with. I hope to, and
Bridget?
Yeah,
was that
I
you?
gotcha.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
So I guess that's the question, is if somebody, I mean, if you clearly look at the reviews that have been posted, it was acting as a hotel and motel in the past. People, had stayed there for soccer tournaments, things like that on Devon's. How does one call and book a room? I guess if it's going to be a hotel motel, I think the board should feel comfortable with the fact that people can call and book a room. The list that you submitted does not seem to show any people coming and staying for 1 or 2 nights, as it was in the past. So I guess that's the other concern, is that the board has to take that into consideration. How do you call and book a room if no one's there?
like I said, if you know the phone number to the motel, if you call that, it bounces to my cell phone. But
Have you had anybody stay there
Yeah.
for 1 or 2 nights?
yeah, I have.
How, are they not on the list that you gave us?
There is a list that we just provided. I'm muted. Hang on.
So I only saw one on there that just checked in today. Are there other
So
people that are
there
not
is a
on?
new one from today, right?
Yeah, but other than that, has anybody stayed here for 1 or 2 nights?
Yes,
How come they weren't included in the list?
they were on the first list. There was
I
another
have the
list.
first list. I don't.
So I can also say that it seems like virtually everybody, I shouldn't say everybody, but most people want the weekly rate. It's $490 a week for a daily rate, and it's $350 for a weekly rate. So you're saving a lot of money.
I know, but as in the past, like I said, according to the reviews, people stayed there overnight for tournaments on Devons. They stayed for family reunions, parties, things like that. They sort of just went there for a night or two. That
Well, I
doesn't
mean,
seem to be.
we're in a pandemic. I mean, no one's going to soccer tournaments and parties. Come on.
I'm just asking a question. I think it's a
Yeah.
viable question. There are still people that need a room for a night at times,
So,
coming in for work, whatever the case may be. I'm just asking a question.
so you're asking, well, let me switch with him so that we're not getting the echo here. Okay, so you're asking why things weren't on the list that we had provided. It's kind of hard to capture a snapshot of a person there for a single night or a single day. You had asked us to provide you with a list of people that were there and for how long they had been there. So we took some snapshots, one from January and one as of today. And we were able to capture as of today that there was a person that had been there for one day. Things do turn over. But yeah, that's where we are with that is that we're it is what it is. We're able to give to you at the time. So it's not that the list is.
So I'm just,
taking a snapshot.
The requirement is that you submit the complete guest register though? So is this guest register that was submitted not complete?
We weren't asked to submit a guest register. We were asked to submit.
I believe that's what Janelle asked you today, was the guest register, which would include all of the guests.
Hang on
A complete.
That's not the email message I got.
I believe she called you on the phone.
No, I called her after the email had come down. The words guest register wasn't listed. It was a listing of guests. Their name. I clarified here. Let me see. I don't have that. I'm sorry. I don't have the email in front of me, but it was a list of the people that were present as of today and the dates that they had been present. We weren't able to get you the date, but we indicated by using our previous list how long people had been there.
So
but no, you didn't. We weren't.
To clarify, we want a list of all of the guests in the times.
We've given you that. We've given you that.
So everybody that's ever stayed there was included in this.
No, it's
that's
who's there
what we
now.
need to look at. That's what the whole procedure is, to look at who's staying there for how long, where are they coming from, you know, in the world of COVID now, are they coming from other states, how long are they staying? So that was the whole purpose of it, is you should be keeping a list of every guest and how long they stay. And we should have access to that as the Board of Health.
And that's not a problem. That wasn't
Okay.
what was asked of us, and that's what I had.
Well, that was the intent. That was the intent.
That may have been the intent, but that was not what was communicated to me. What I had understood is that you were looking for a list of who's there now and how long they've been there. That's what we gave you.
So to clarify, it would be a complete list of every guest moving forward, that the board has access to that.
Yeah.
So if we come in, we could see, and we'll also be requesting that.
There will be a register that establishes that. Yes.
Okay. Could we have all the guests for the past as well?
So how far back are you looking to go? Because we have provided that previously.
So a list of everybody that stayed there from the time he purchased it till now.
Okay, so we had given you that back in January without the names. I can fill in the names and give you that. Would you like that?
But it's all the same people. It looks almost identical. I have it in front of me, with the exception of the new guest today.
That's not true.
I have it right in front of me.
What do you have in front of you?
So I have the one from January 8th.
I'm having a hard time responding to what you're saying because I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay. I think what the board needs is a list of all the guests that have stayed there from the time Steve purchased it until today.
We will get you that.
Because I have the one from you from January 8th.
Yes.
And there's a little bit of deviation, but it doesn't look like there's much of anything at all. We have,
It's not a lot.
I think there might be one unit that's slightly different. One came in today and unit 6 might have a new individual staying there. But other than that, I guess what the board needs to do to make a decision is really understand and make that this is going to be operated as a hotel and motel or motel.
Well,
But
I
I
think
can't
when we
speak for the
look
board.
at,
Yeah, but I
So
think
we-
we set out a plan as to how we're going to do that. I'm happy to provide you with all the information that you're asking for, but I don't see what one has to do with establishing whether we're doing the other.
I think the tie-in is that it looks like you're pretty well chock full with long-termers, except for you have the one that checked in today. And I know you've got a couple of others that are relatively short stays, a month or a couple of weeks. But
Yeah.
we're trying to evaluate if you were to, as far as new business is concerned, as you manage to relocate people into better situations, you will have more units available to actually operate as a motel. But could you even do that right now? I think is what the question we're trying to figure out. Do you have units to offer to people under the, kind of?
Right now, units are full.
Yeah. Okay.
And I have a-
And-
We do have an owner's unit that is going to become instrumental in trying to accommodate some people that have been there for an extended period of time and to be able to have that transitioning period. And we're working that out as well. But
Okay.
since our last meeting, there has been some turnover.
Yeah.
A lot does remain the same, but is operating as a hotel motel dealing with that. Yes, there has been some extended stays, but that's what we're attempting to address with this program. So it's, you look at things as kind of a carrot and stick situation. We're giving incentive here with this program while we're not able to do what was being suggested previously by way of evictions. And I think we'd like to try to avoid evictions if we can.
So, well, actually, I'm not sure that anybody recommended evictions as a way to deal
No,
with
but I
this.
think that was the logical alternative.
I don't know. You can call in your credit card number to somewhere and put them up. That there are a lot of different alternatives, but there's also a little bit of concern, to tell you the truth, that you have a couple of people on the list that, we've been talking about this since, when did your application go in? September? The application for the license? I'm looking for that in my pile here. September. We started talking about it around October. So just in that period of time, you have acquired people that are now out to 12, 13 weeks, 6 weeks. So how are you rolling the announcement of this program out to your tenants? Are you going to go to them and tell them that they must leave by some certain time? Are you just going to make them aware that these things are available and let them make their own decisions? You know, kind of what's the rollout plan for this?
So the rollout plan is to talk to people individually. Each of the
Okay.
tenants, we're going to sit down with them and explain that we have the situation, that we do have to have people moving out, and that we've implemented these tools as a means of assisting people. We don't want to be in a
Okay.
situation where all of a sudden we're upsetting people. You know, these people are paying to stay there, and we want to maintain a good relationship with them. But
Right.
want them overstaying the welcome of what creates a hotel motel. So we have to explain this to them, which as we had talked about in previous meetings, brings up the issue of, well, a lot of these people have nowhere else to go. Well, this program addresses that. This program sets out what these people can do in order to have something. The problem I do see and have continued to see is deal with this issue now in this environment with the pandemic going on, and the moratorium on evictions and everything else, that we're in a situation that is unlike what we would have been in last year, or you know, and any other time. We have to be responding in ways that are understanding of what people are going through. And you see a lot with hotels now, where no hotels are doing well. Hotels are not the vacation spot that they would have hoped.
And business travel is gone too.
People aren't moving. Business travel as it used to exist doesn't exist right now. So you're not having the people booking the overnight stays. And so how are these hotels trying to survive? Well, a lot of them have become havens for people who are sick. So they have set up contracts with the state that they'll accept a certain amount of people to come in who might be COVID positive or need to quarantine, and a lot. That's not what I'm trying to do here, but that's an example of some outside the box thinking that's helping these businesses stay in business, but also is helping people and helping the situation. I'm proposing something that I hope is kind of outside the box as well with this program. I would like the Board of Health to approve that so we can go forward. I have no problem with revisiting things in 90 days and seeing where we are, but I want to work with the board. I don't want to work against the board.
Yeah, no, I've got you. Are you telling, so some of the people, and then I'll stop dwelling on the specifics, but as new people come in, are you making them aware up front that, look, this is only a temporary, that these are the limits on your stay? I would imagine that once you issue the motel policy, they will get that when they check in.
Yes.
So they'll get something in writing, but are you?
And that writing is what was included as part of the attachment to my letter.
Yep, I saw that, Okay. But what about the people that are there, you know, that maybe have come in the last month or two? Do you have any inkling yet as to, I mean, do you expect these people to be long haulers or?
Well, we're not expecting anyone to be long haulers. No.
Yeah, it just kind of happens, right? I know,
We're expecting that people are going to treat this as a hotel motel going forward. We do need to have that time to establish the track record, so to speak, so that we can show you how things are playing out.
Right.
So I would suggest we do that. We do have some of what you might call the long haulers who recognize that they have to move on and have taken steps and are continuing to
Yeah.
look and to secure alternative housing. I think one is moving out of state or looking to do so, and we're attempting to encourage that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
while we
understood.
don't have a lot of teeth here to the carrot and stick approach, to mix a metaphor, we do have an incentive program that I think is a helpful one.
I would agree. I do like the incentive program, and I can see where that could really help. There's one more thing about the motel, and you may have touched on this in the plan that you sent, but I believe it says that the pool will be closed until further notice, or is that right?
Yes.
Yes, no one is allowed in the pool area until further notice. Okay, and you do know that you need a permit to operate the pool?
Do you know you
From-
need it? We do now.
Okay,
We're not planning to.
you
operate
do
the pool.
now, yeah. So
We are currently
so
planning to operate the pool until, but we'll make sure that we get the permit
Okay.
before.
okay, all right. So what I guess if you could give us as a board and our agent Bridget a moment to discuss. You can certainly stay on the line. That's not a problem. But I do thank you for all the information that you submitted, and you pulled a lot together in a short period of time. So I do give you credit for that.
Well, thank you. All right, I'll put this.
So to my board members then, and Bridget, of course, I am thinking that what we do here is we do something like the short-term license, the 90-day, and include conditions in that, such as kind of some of them are loose ends, like, pool can't be opened until you have the appropriate permits or whatever. But also with a kind of reminder that the idea here is to ultimately come into complete compliance with operating as a motel, and that's very well defined in their documents. So if we do a 90-day with some conditions and say we will revisit this in 90 days, then we'll have some actual performance data to evaluate. It's all prospective. It's all
True.
plans at this point. But I think in my opinion, I think that there is some good intent. I think that you've done a good job of documenting where you want to go, and now it's really up to you to, if you want to operate a motel and that's the license you applied for, turn it into a motel again. And we'll look at what's happened there in the next 90 days. Any thoughts on that? Anybody with different opinion? I hate not being able to see everyone.
Hey, Pam,
Like
this is Steve.
Yeah.
From the Bridget's perspective, if we did issue a license with conditions in 90 days, how often do you plan to inspect down there? Or is there a plan, or would you normally go in there every 30 days? I don't have a feel what.
That's why we need
Forward.
the,
Hello?
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, do you hear my
You're not-
dog?
Barking.
Yeah. Yeah. we
Sorry.
Berkeley.
So that's the whole purpose of the guest list, including every individual that comes and goes. That's how we'll monitor whether or not it's conforming to a hotel motel. And this is according to town council, by the way. So we'll get that list. It could be every 30 days. And then from there, it's not a physical inspection of the property, but the guest register, including all of the people that come and go every day, short term, everybody, every 30 days is given to the board. It could be through Heather, and then we review that. And then in
So-
90
So that would
days,
be,
yes.
that would be
in-
one of the conditions. So you
Yeah, you
submit
can
a
do it every
complete
30
copy of
days.
the register. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do it every 30 days, or you could wait, the 90 days before the next meeting. And then, again, if there isn't any movement, the enforcement action goes to the town. The board is, by giving the 90 days, it's allowing people time to relocate. And then again, at the end of 90 days, the town can take over enforcement action through zoning.
So I guess just to kind of define that a little bit better.
Yep.
Would we get an update from you after 30 days that they're following conditions if we listed something, or is it your intent not to get back to the board for 90 days? I don't, if we do a 90-day license, how do we know that they're coming towards compliance?
That they would have to email not just me, but you as the board as well. So you can see the compliance through the process. Just like.
Yeah, and I
it would come
think
to-
that's a requirement that,
Yeah.
or a condition that
Yeah.
we would place on the license, that complete transmittal of the guest register every 30 days.
So
Yeah.
we generally don't do inspections at the hotels and motels for the most part, unless there's a complaint. The biggest complaint that I've had in the past with hotels, motels has been bed bugs. So generally, site evaluations are done that way by complaint. But for enforcement, like I said, the guest register is the big issue here. Who's coming, who's going, how long are they staying? And the board can put the condition that, that material is sent to the board. It could be, like I said, every 30, 60, or the 90 days. And it doesn't just go to me, it goes to you so that you can see it and view it as well. So you're right there in the loop.
I guess
Yeah,
my thought,
that makes sense.
30-day basis to make sure they're coming towards compliance. I don't want to
Yes.
get 90 days and find out that, oh, nothing's happened. That's
Yeah.
not the intent, is to run a business according to the law. And that's all I care about.
100% agree.
I get it,
Yep.
Steve. Yeah.
Yeah, me as well.
Can I add something, or is that out of order at this point?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
So this expectation of what the 90-day period is going to show and an intent to follow the law or not, I don't think, I think looking at this in 90 days is absolutely appropriate. Building up the expectation that this needs to show that things have completely done an about face might be unrealistic. But I think we need to be able to, so I don't want to draw any conclusions right now as to what it needs to show. But I want to make sure that it's clear that we are embarking on this program, not having done it before, not knowing what the turnaround is going to be, and not knowing how
Yeah.
COVID's affecting things. I just don't want to build up the false hope that we're going to come to you and say, okay, it's all cleaned up now. I think we need to show that we're doing what we need to in good faith. We can show you every step of what the program has done to show that we've been doing this in good faith. We can provide the guest register. And by the way, just to be clear, so that we're on the same page, exactly the information that you'd be looking for in the guest register, would it just be their names and the dates in which they've been there, or is there more that you're looking for, Bridget?
It's who's been there. So the names, that's how we track who's been there, keep track of who's been there. And the dates. And obviously then, by indicating the names, we know the number of people in the rooms. But again, in talking to town council, the goal here is compliance. We've been doing this since November, and there should be substantial compliance. Otherwise, the town is going to have to take over. The
So
board
in
had a
that,
permit to
it's
issue a
the
hotel
question of
motel.
what it would take to be compliant. And that's, I think, what we've been kind of going around on.
If there
Yeah,
are
it is.
only, again,
No, go ahead, Bridget.
there should be movement of people, and this should be heading in the direction of a hotel motel, short-term stays, transient.
Agreed.
Not one or two people moving out, but this list should be, it shouldn't be the same people in 90 days. The board's gonna have to make that decision in 90 days. I don't think it's fair to ask them. Again, the applicant applied for a hotel and motel license. This program and everything, like I said, is a wonderful thing, but again, he applied for a hotel and motel license. That's what the board has been asked to issue. And he has to demonstrate that that's what it's going to go back to. And I can't speak for the board, but that's what the discussion has been with town council, how to get it back to where it was.
So I agree with that. It's how to get it
Okay.
back to where it was. But I don't want to, when we conclude by saying it shouldn't be the same people on the list, I agree that we're trying to create a list of that shows that we have a complete turnover, but to have that as the expectation after just 90 days might be an issue, given
Yep. Well, we've been,
where we're starting from.
yeah, I mean, but
I
we've
don't
been,
think,
good.
well, I don't think we can say ahead of time that we're going to hold you to, in 90 days, you have to have 100% compliance.
Mhm.
I also don't know what number could we pick that is substantial. So it's a little difficult to, put any numbers or metrics on this thing ahead of time. But what we are going to be looking for 90 days from now is that there has been some substantial movement towards your goal of operating a motel.
Understood.
And
So let's see where we're
we'll
at.
have to see the data when it comes. Yeah. And
I think that's the thing.
keep in mind that especially since you are already working with affordable housing in town, you're already working with economic and community development, that in 90 days, if we determine that it's not moving towards a motel, that doesn't mean that you have to burn the place down and say, forget about it. It just means that now it's a zoning enforcement thing. So, and it does sound like there are groups in town that want to work with you on that. So it might be just a matter it's not under our jurisdiction because it's not a hotel motel, but there may be something else. So we're back to that discussion.
Understood. Understood.
But let's look at it. Let's look at it in 90 days. So we're coming up on 8 o'clock. So anybody have further comments? If not, I'll make a motion.
Pam, I just had a question. I see that Chief Johnson and Chief Murray have been sitting in on this meeting, and I wondered if we needed any input from either one of them. I know it's just a 90-day decision right now, but if they had any comments, they've been sitting there listening to this.
Yeah, thank you. Because I'm not online, so I don't see who's in the room
we
there,
have
but
both chiefs here.
Trish, I can just add,
beautiful.
nothing's
Please
changed
speak up.
nothing's changed on the fire department end at all,
Okay.
because the use is gonna stay the same. So unless the use changed, then there's no change on the fire department end, from the occupancy.
Okay.
Okay.
And we've been in the loop all along between Charlie and
Yep.
Bridget and us, so we've been
Yeah.
kept. So no, everything's good if the use isn't gonna change.
Okay.
But thank you.
Okay.
And we're not really affected by any of this either. Our main concern is more the clientele. And we have experienced an increased call volume at the business
Mm.
since Steve took over,
Good.
which is troubling to us. So we're trying to pin down why has there been such a dramatic increase?
It's a dramatic increase.
Yes, increase.
So, and that,
Okay.
and that being said, that was my original question about, is the increase of calls is it at night?
I would have to do a search of our log entries. I could get that information to the board.
And that was my initial question to Mr. Wetzel about nobody there on the premises at night for, anything that could come up. But
Yeah.
I wanted to know if that was a regulation, and apparently it's not, but okay.
Well, one question I would ask is, I know the last time we discussed this, Chief Murray, you had mentioned that, a lot of the calls are, kind of well, I mean, they're police work, but they're not, there's not a criminal element. It might be serving papers for someone or doing a check. Is there a change in the type of calls or incidents that you've been seeing?
That's what I would have to research, Pam.
Okay,
My
gotcha.
sense is there has been a change since that
Okay.
initial time that we sent the logs. So I'll do a search of those tomorrow and send them over to you.
Thank you.
Okay, great. Because that does have to be something that we take into consideration. And even if this establishment gets designated as something other than a hotel motel, that will be important. So I guess my best advice to Mr. Wetzel is to, try to keep an eye on what's going on there. And if there are some increased issues and they're coming from a, small group of people, as is sometimes the case, it only takes a few to make a lot of noise, then, you might need to do something with that group of people. You might need to have some discussions with them about how this is jeopardizing your licensing.
Can I suggest that to the extent that calls are coming in to the police and I guess you're saying on a more stepped up basis since he has purchased the place. I know you had said that back in I want to say December when he had the place for 90 days. Has that continued throughout to February as well? Was there a step up in calls in January, Chief?
I can't say positively, it's just my sense of things. That's why I really would rather check the logs and verify and get the valuable information.
So Steve very much wants to make sure that he's in compliance and that his guests are also following the law. So to the extent that the police are responding to situations, if Steve could be notified that a call went out and that this was the situation, he can address that internally as well. And I think that that's probably a good idea as far as having that relationship between the police and the hotel.
Yeah, I think we can work with that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pam?
So, yes, yep.
I just wanted to go through, we did request from town council, if we issue, or if the board issues a permit for 90 days, she clearly said that it should be required that the license holder within a certain period of time, 90 days from date of issuance, bring the operation into full compliance with Mass General Law, Section 140 and the State Sanitary Code, including requiring the relocation of any long-term occupants that have resided there for more than that period of time, and required certification to the board that occupants have been relocated. That was, from town council. So I think it's important that we do put that in there, and that they also, it's in on their permit that it's prohibited any future occupants to reside at the property in a non-transient manner that means in excess of 90 days. That's specifically from town council. So I think that really needs to be on the permit if you decide to do a temporary permit.
I agree with that, because that is the goal here. That's the intent.
Correct.
Is
Correct.
to operate this thing as a motel in accordance with the mess
I agree
regulations.
that,
So I would agree with that.
Okay.
I agree that that's the intent, but to shut the door on things in 90 days in this time period is setting us up for failure, I think.
The
Well,
board can certainly reevaluate in 90 days.
Council has said,
Right.
what, I was never given a copy of that. But I'd like the opportunity to respond to whatever occurs within that 90-day period, and to be able to make my point at that point as to what the data shows and how we are coming into compliance or attempting to do so. So to have that cut and dried, black and white, this is where we're going to be in 90 days or else type of situation, I think is really problematic.
Again, that was from our council. So, and that's.
And that, I understand that,
Yeah.
But I didn't see that, so I'm not sure what
It's
the context was.
attorney-client privilege, Mr. Lilly. I'm sure you
Okay.
understand that. So
Yep.
we asked for an opinion. We received the opinion. Again, that is just the direction that we were pointed by town council. So I just wanted to make that clear that if that's what the board wants to do, because, you know, again, you're going to vote on it, but we have to draw up a permit that specifies everything completely in writing to protect the Board of Health in 90 days.
Right. So I think that by putting that condition, it's really saying that this is where you need to go. You need to get to the point where you are operating a motel, because this is a motel license. We're not saying that if you, as I mentioned earlier, if you don't have 100% compliance in 90 days, we're just going to slam the door and say, that's it, forget about it. We're going to reevaluate in 90 days. But I think it is essential that we point out that this is where you have to go. You have to become compliant with Ayer's zoning bylaw and the state regulations for hotel motel. So that's your goal. That's it. If you can achieve it in 90 days, that's fantastic. If you can't, then we need to look at where that situation leaves us. But I don't really feel that as a board, we should be taking on the authority to create some new rules, really, for a new entity that we haven't defined. So I think we've got to stick with the regulations and the bylaws as they're printed.
I agree with how you phrase that. I think that's exactly right. That's the expectation. And if that expectation is not met, then we determine why and what happened.
Exactly. We evaluate, we look at what has happened over the 90 days. We'll have those 30-day snapshots of how things are going. So yeah, I don't think that that's anything to be afraid of, having that requirement. I think it's more it's just a statement of fact.
Understood.
Okay. So where do we go from here? How is that?
Well, I can propose, I can make a motion at this point that I move that the board grant a limited time period, 90 days from the date that the license is issued, for the operation of Mimi's Place as a hotel motel defined in the state regulations and in Ayer's bylaws. And we will craft some specific conditions, you know, one of which we really just explained, that making sure that we're referencing the state regs and our bylaws. and not opening the pool until you have proper licensing. So we'll work out the actual conditions,
Pam,
but yeah.
What I think the board should do, if you don't mind me interrupting, is just go over the
No, not at all.
conditions. Go over the conditions that were presented by town council now, so that the board can vote on those conditions. And it could be typed up with a permit for town council to review before issuing. So
Okay,
I
that
can
does make
read-
sense.
Do you want me to read the list of conditions?
Yes, please.
Okay. And then you would vote on those conditions.
Right.
board.
So what we would then be, the motion and the vote would be to issue the 90-day license with the conditions we just listed.
Yes, is the board okay with me reading this?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Steve?
Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So the first condition would be that the license holder, within a certain period of time, 90 days from the date of issuance, bring operation into full compliance with Mass General Law 140 in the state sanitary code, including requiring the relocation of any long-term occupants that have resided there for more than the period of time required. More than the period of time and require certification to the board that such occupants have been relocated. Prohibit any future occupants to reside at the property in a non-transient manner, for example, in excess of 90 days. Ensure compliance with COVID-19 sector specific requirements they're in effect now. Ensure that there's a guest register with information regarding the occupants' length of stay, which can be made available to the board or its agent upon request. Post a copy of the license with notice to all current and future occupants with these conditions. Provide a status update to the board in 90 days as to the compliance of the conditions. And we would ask that we have an update every 30 days on the individuals living there, as we discussed in this meeting. And then I would also include that the pool is currently unlicensed and uninspected, so that can't be used until that's brought into compliance.
Yes.
And that was from
Beautiful.
town council.
Okay.
Pam,
So,
I will second the motion with conditions.
okay, perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Can we have a little bit of discussion before we actually vote?
Oh, yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
In respect to having it 100% compliance, I understand what Attorney Lilly is saying, but at the end of 90 days, if there's no movement towards compliance, I think that's a completely other issue. I look at the board as acting. I look at the board as acting in good faith, and I would hope that the other parties are doing the same thing.
I agree, and I think that this is going to require Mr. Wenzel to work hard over the next 90 days. And I do agree that we need to see some substantial movement towards full compliance. That will be a very easy decision to make if there's absolutely no change, no movement in 90 days. Then it's going to be very clear that we need to look at something else.
Yep.
Yes. All right, that being said,
Pam, can I make a suggestion on this too?
Oh, please.
Since we have a public hearing in front of us, we do either need to close it or continue it. My suggestion would be that we leave it open, otherwise I have to re-advertise it in that 90 days. So if the board wants to look, the 90 days would be up sometime beginning of May to continue this hearing until that meeting date. So Mr. Wenzel and Attorney Lilly have an idea of when that 90 days will be up. Just so we know we're going to be discussing this again. Otherwise, we're saying 90 days from what? So I just would like to see that date set It's nothing to write up a decision on this. It would take me probably have it done by, Wednesday, Thursday at the
Okay.
latest. So they would have that. So I just want to make sure we're doing that just because it is a public hearing.
When is the
Okay,
annual,
that makes a lot of sense.
when is the
Okay.
annual, when is the annual renewal on the license due?
They expire in December
I think it's December 31st,
as
Steve.
a general rule.
Okay. You want to vote, Pam?
What meeting dates do we have?
Where are we?
Yeah, actually, let's get the vote out of the way first. So-
Okay.
Well, like I said, Pam, I'd want to have a date on that just so we have an idea as part of the motion, unless you want to make a separate one.
No,
Yeah, let's do a-
date. No?
I'm sorry, what's that?
Pam, should we let Heather get the date so that Mr. Lilly can hear or vote?
So, yeah, that's what I'm not really sure of. If you want it included in the vote, then we have to pick.
Well, I
a
just, we
date.
do need to come up with that before we conclude this, because we do need to continue the meeting to a certain time. And I do want to put that 90-day time frame on that permit. And I think it'd be best that we're meeting to discuss this before that 90 days expires. Otherwise, we're reviewing something that is
Right.
expired.
May,
Yeah.
May 11 is the second Tuesday in May, if that helps.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking at. And is,
Yeah,
geez,
be
is
May
our-
10th is the second Monday.
Oh, I'm sorry, second Monday, May 10. Thank you.
And is May a normal second and fourth, Heather?
I believe town meeting is in April. So May would be normal just because the holiday's on the 31st.
Okay, holidays on the 31st. Okay, yeah,
Yes.
then we would be normal meeting scheduled that month.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we could then, as part of that vote, say that we're going to continue this to May 10th.
Yeah, just because I just want to double check dates too. I mean, I'm obviously able to count down in front of me to count the exact 90 days. But I just want to have that meeting to discuss this before that permit date is expired, because then you're looking at
Right.
voting on an expired license, which you'd have to re-advertise and do the whole process over again if my
Yeah,
Board of Health
Yeah.
licensing is correct.
yeah, absolutely. I get you. So today is the 8th. And I'm thinking if we get this typed up, we want to run it by town council. I mean, is it reasonable to think we could get this issued by the end of this week? Or do things not move that quickly?
I could get it to town council by in the next day or in the next 2 days. I mean, I say I'm in town hall tomorrow from 8 o'clock in the morning until I have a meeting at 6. So I think in that 10 hours, I think I could get that done.
Yeah, you'll have time, because that looks to me like if we continue this until May 10th, that's going to be pretty darn close to the 30 days.
Yeah, that'd be really
February.
close to 90. I think the board would, if we feel like we're getting too close that we missed it, I'm sure the last meeting we can tweak it then. So in April. Thank you for entertaining me on this.
Okay, all right. So we can move it up to April if we need to? Is that?
If we realize in
what you're
April
saying?
that we're getting close, we can just extend it to that meeting. I just want to make sure
Okay.
we're understanding this before we issue everything and get that all done. I want to make sure I have these dates and stuff set.
Okay, all right, I got you.
Any way we could set it
So-
for 7 would actually help.
I'm sorry, what was that?
7 o'clock, is that a possibility?
Yes.
Thank you.
You'll have to check, Heather, and make sure that, that the Zoom, whatever, is available later on that day, but
Yeah.
that shouldn't be a problem. Okay, great. So I completely lost track of where we are in a vote. I think we've had a motion
Yep.
to issue the temporary license 90 days with the conditions as suggested by town council, and that we're also going to continue this public hearing until May
10th.
10th. Yep, there it is. All right, that's the motion. Anyone want a second?
I second.
All right. You okay to vote?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Steve?
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so that is the arrangement then. We'll get the license, temporary license drawn up. It will have the conditions as Bridget listed them here, and one of those will be to submit the guest register every 30 days. So, you know, we'll be in touch with you, I'm sure, before the date of the next meeting. But that's the date to try to get yourself in as good a shape as you can.
Understood. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. Okay. So just fortunately, we don't have an awful lot left on the agenda. Quick COVID update, perhaps, from Bridget.
Good news.
Yeah.
The numbers are at 1,700 today. So we're heading in the right
Wow.
direction. I did talk to Tamara this
Yeah.
morning, and things in Ayer are looking pretty good. The Federal Medical Center had a couple of cases over the weekend, but overall things seem to be heading in the right direction. So that's good news.
Great.
I also heard that Lowell General is opening up a vaccine clinic as well, which is
Yep,
closer
I
than.
saw that in the paper. Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's specifically what's happening is it's for doctors that are in the Circle Health Network are able to
Okay.
get their patients vaccinated. So, for example, I guess some of the doctors are calling the over 75 individuals and asking them if they want the vaccine. So they're able to go to this facility and get the vaccine through their primary care physician. So that's good news. Anybody that's in the area and their primary care physicians are associated with Circle Health, it's an option closer. If individuals can't drive, it's closer for kids to bring their parents or grandparents to Lowell if their doctors are part of that network. So that's a positive that came out today as well. So
yeah, I would agree. It is the more places that we can get actually, you know, administering vaccines, the better it is for all of us. And we are continuing to hold clinics, correct? Or they're not really clinics because they're by appointment. Is that correct? What Michelle is doing? Yeah.
Yeah, and so what we're trying to do is advocate with the state delegation, state representatives, and senators to have the state get more vaccines for us to issue to member towns. So it's, you know, again, it's all based on how many vaccines we can get from the state, and that's based on how many vaccines the state can get from the federal government. So if we can get more, we did have a clinic last Wednesday. I did work it. It was great and it was easy. We had a lot of compliments. People were very happy. And, you know, again, it did serve individuals 75 and older. So like I said, they were very grateful. It went very well. I mean, it was really humbling to say the least, but like I said, the goal is to get more vaccine and vaccinate more people.
Absolutely.
Where was the clinic at?
It was on Devon's at I think it was the old Officers Club.
Yeah.
So just because we're only limited right now in the number of vaccines that we have, we're working with the Council on Aging, representatives in each town. They're keeping a list and they're registering those individuals for the clinic.
So if you are an Ayer resident at this point and qualify under the 75 or older, it's still only 75 or over, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Then you need to call Council on Aging.
Correct. I have had
Sure.
some people that you know, and I understand it's very confusing. They've called me, and rather than
Yeah.
have them call somebody else, I take the names and phone number and pass that on to Karen. And she's been great, and she adds them to the list.
Mhm.
And again,
Okay,
as we
great.
get more vaccine, like I said, that's the hope. We can vaccinate more of the seniors, especially the ones that have transportation issues.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Anything going on at the hospital that anyone is aware of? Are they offering vaccines? Does anyone know? I don't know.
I had heard today that some of, I had called Karen today only because of my situation. I'm taking care of my mom and stepdad and Shirley, trying to get them back
Yeah.
to the Shirley Senior Center. And I called Karen to ask a question about myself being technically a healthcare worker, because I'm living in the house with 2 post-COVID people. And
Yep.
she had said that she heard, and I don't know where, that the steward doctors at the hospital, some of them were, if they had the capability of holding so many different, storing vaccines, or if they had freezers or refrigerators in their offices, I don't know how much room they had.
Okay.
But that
So,
could be something to check out with your own, if you have a physician up there, call and see if they are.
yeah, it sounds like it's going to go through the physicians rather than like the hospital holding.
Yeah, I think it's individual to the doctors.
Okay. All right. Okay, great. Thank you, Bridget. I'm glad to see that the numbers are finally going.
I know, thank you.
That is a bit of a relief. And anything other in the lines of Neshoba material, any inspection reports, anything else from you, Bridget?
I'm trying to think. I don't think so. I did a housing last week. That report will be in the envelope for the next meeting.
Okay.
Nothing major.
All right. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Next item, review and approve minutes of the last meeting.
Mhm.
Any discussion? Everyone have a chance to read the minutes? Are you okay with minutes?
I am. I wasn't there, so I just perused them, and maybe Steve.
Yeah,
Oh,
I think the minutes look fine. Reading through them, the board discussed that the due diligence was the responsibility of the buyer, not the counter of it. And I don't see that included in the.
yeah. And I also just realized something. The minutes then that I scanned and sent out today, I was jumping ahead of myself, wasn't I? I meant to be sending out the ones from the last meeting, which I forgot to do. And I think what I signed and sent out for tonight. So I'm sorry about that. I signed early.
No.
What do we need to do, Heather?
I'm sorry?
I made
You
a
can
mistake.
table the minutes and I can add the language and you can vote on them at the next meeting is probably the easiest.
Okay, all
Sounds
right,
good.
okay. So that sounds good to
I
me.
know
So
I know what
sign
Steve's
both-
talking about and I thought I had put that in there and I apologize if I didn't.
It's no
I do think
apology
it's
necessary.
important to get that in, so.
Oh, so Pam,
Okay.
the one that you sent me that I was just going to initial because I wasn't present, don't scan that to Heather. That's the wrong.
Right, because
Okay.
those were I was getting my email dates mixed up.
Okay.
So I will, however, send you, and I'm making a big note on my copy of the agenda here, I will send you the ones I was supposed to send you from the previous meeting, because I don't think I signed those. Is that right, Heather? Is that what your record
Yeah,
shows?
I had to go through a bunch of mine. I have both my boards. I have meeting minutes that are missing off the website that and in my binders that I'm going to spend the next few days and weeks figuring it all out. So
Okay.
I'll send you all the ones that I'm missing to make sure that they get signed.
All right.
It's the whole
Okay,
thing
great.
with the town hall being closed and virtual meetings, getting all this stuff done.
Yeah, okay. All right, so yeah, just ignore the one, Trish, that I sent out. That was
All right,
jumping the gun.
I'll wait here for you.
Okay, and we'll put that on the
Hey,
agenda
Pam-
then for next,
Sure.
next meeting.
Pam, I do have
Yeah?
a question in terms of process. Is there a budget that's been put together for the Board of Health for the coming town meeting?
Yes.
Mm.
We got, oh boy, and Heather, you're gonna remember the dates probably better than I will, but the process is that we get a copy of what our budget was for last year, what we have spent out of that budget so far, and what we're proposing for the next fiscal
And
year.
that's usually done in November or December. Everything's usually due to the town manager's office, usually the first week of December. So they can get everything ready to go through FinCom, so everything's ready to go. So they've already had one FinCom meeting. They're having another one, actually the same day as our meeting in March that we have to figure that out.
So
Yep,
was
and
that
sounds
done?
about right.
And
Was that
because of
done prior-
COVID and everything, all towns, all departments were advised to do same as last year with no increases.
Yeah, so we did
So we've
submit
done-
that, Steve, that we just wanted to level fund for the next fiscal year.
Always level funded.
And
Yep.
was the assessments from the Neshoba level funded too?
I'm never really sure how they work that out, because I think that, Heather, doesn't the accounting for the town get that figure directly from Jim?
I
I
believe
know
they do,
sometimes
and
it-
I believe it comes out later than our
Yeah,
budgets are required. I
yeah.
think they get theirs and like send theirs out, and I think it's quite a bit later. I think it's usually right before spring town meeting. So it all, the show all gets figured out somehow.
Yeah, there is
Why
a
don't you
lag.
municipal accounting?
Yep, this happens every year, that there is a lag. So we don't actually put in the dollar amount for Neshoba. We leave it blank, so it's got the numbers from last year, but then we also, just put a note that you're gonna have to get the real numbers from Jim Gareffi. And somehow every year they seem to work that out and get all the numbers in time.
Okay.
Steve,
Okay.
Yeah.
Steve, this is Cindy. There is a draft
Hi.
budget on the town manager's page on the website, which has the
Okay.
last draft of the budget, and there is a separate department for the Neshoba Board of Health. And there is a 5% increase.
5%.
I don't know
Wow.
if that's the final number for that or not, but all of that's
So
on the
who are-
town manager's page.
Who arbitrates that, Cindy? Is that between the Board of Health and Neshoba, or does someone else do that?
I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. We could find out, I'm sure.
Yeah,
just curious.
So, no,
You know?
the way that I've understood the process up till now is that Neshoba does their budget, and I think that was part of what was going on at their last executive committee meeting was looking at that budget. So then from that budget, Jim does an assessment to each town. I'm not sure if that's based on population or, yeah, that's the piece I'm not sure exactly how it's done. But then those figures for each town go to the town and they end up in the budget. I have never been part of, in the many years I've been on the board, any like negotiation with Neshoba that we think that the number should be different. If that's what you're asking, it's more this is what your charge is going to be.
Just wondering how it happens. That's all.
Yeah. Yep. That's the process as well as I understand it. I don't know, Bridget, do you have any insider information to offer? Or?
So I don't want to give the wrong information, but this is sort of, obviously I'm more in the field than. Yeah. Jim is the director, so this is his specialty, but whoa, is that you, Cindy? Could you guys hear me?
Yeah, that was Cindy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. Something with a bunch of numbers just pumped up really big.
Yeah, Cindy screen shared the budget.
I did that. Sorry.
I thought I did something.
I was muted. I was talking.
So I think what happens is through the executive committee meetings at Neshoba, they take all sorts of things into consideration, population, what's happening in each town, and then the assessment is based on that. And then those numbers go to the town after the assessment is given in by the town.
Yeah,
I think the accountant.
Yep,
but
it goes directly from Neshoba to the town accountant. But is it based on, what's the assessment based on? Is it based on population? Or are there other
it's based
factors,
on population.
like how many residents, or how many, not residents, but how many restaurants, how many?
I think some of that's taken into consideration. So some towns, they're more septic based and fees are generated from the septic end of it, and then the food end of it. And then, with Ayer, one of the issues that has always been are the sort of, we call them the unfunded mandates, where we do the housing inspections, and those, we don't generate any fees based on that. I think Ayer is one of the towns that has the most housings out of all of our towns.
Okay. So
I think there's a whole bunch of things that are taken into consideration. Yeah. Like I said, septic, well, population, things like housing inspections, all of that is sort of looked at, and then that's where they come up with different fees.
Yeah.
Hey, Pam, this is Steve. I don't want to belabor this. It's been a long meeting, but it is something. Cindy, I appreciate it. I'll take a look at it offline. If I have questions, I can get back to you. But I'd just like to understand what we're paying for and how that process works. That's all. Yeah,
there's two numbers in Neshoba, right? There's nursing services are broken out separately.
Yes.
I think there's two budget line items you're going to see from Neshoba. So one is just nursing services, and then the other is all the other stuff that they do. The other is
I'll print out a copy of what Cindy sent, and if I have questions, I can bring them up later, but I don't want to belabor it tonight.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. On that note then, do we have any mail? Do we have any bills?
No.
No? No mail, no bills?
No, we haven't gotten too much. It's been pretty quiet. Besides the normal.
Well, no bills is always good.
Yeah, no bills, and mail is nothing more than the normal, insurance waivers for, damage to property. I think that's the only mail that's really come in.
All right, gotcha. So then action items for next meeting. We've been kind of overwhelmed with the Casamana Mimi's Place hearing for a while. So, we're going on, this is a late meeting tonight, so I don't really want to dwell on it. But for action items, I don't have anything in particular that I would like to put on other than kind of our usual stuff. And that could be a good meeting to just kind of catch our breath and, you know, maybe have a more substantive talk about action items and things that we'd like to accomplish over the next couple of months.
Yes,
So
and just want to remind you that not Lori Sable is on the agenda for the next meeting.
Lori Sable, okay.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
And Pam, I was gonna ask you, is there anything that you, I saw, I quickly looked at some emails from Lori Nearing. Is there anything that we need to respond to, or is she just forwarding, or is she looking for a time slot?
She did send me an email today asking, you know, when would be a good time for them to, you know, kind of get back into the mix again. And although she did say, you know, I understand with all the COVID stuff going on, it's, you know, we can hold off a little bit. So what I was thinking of doing there is, I'm glad you reminded me about Lori Sable, Heather, thank you. So I think I could actually send Lori Nearing back an email, maybe suggesting that we hold off on that until the either second March meeting or even April. Let's see what comes out of our next meeting as stuff that we feel we need to do on a short, you know, if there is anything we need to do on a short time frame.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Great.
Hey, Pam, is there any documents from Lori that would help me come up to speed with what she's looking for? I don't get emails from her, so I don't know. You know, it would be a discussion that she.
Sable or Nearing?
Nearing or Sable, yeah.
Either one of them. I have very little to go on what either one would be asking about or talking about. If there's any communications that have
Steve,
gone back and forth, maybe I could get a.
You didn't see any?
Oh, there's a ton.
You didn't see any current ones, Steve, from Lori Nearing?
No, nothing. Not to me.
Okay, because when I go on to check my email, there were a couple on there updated from PFAS.
Yeah.
And I think.
Oh, I wonder. She might not have Steve's email.
That's it.
Yes. Okay. All right. I will send her your email, Steve. But yes, there's a lot of email communication between PACE and the board concerning this PFAS stuff. So let me start going through my emails and forward you things that will help you put it together. But I'll also make sure that Lori Nearing has your email. And then the other thing, Heather, is if you could ask Lori Sable to just give us a little, you know, kind of background on what it is that she wants to talk to us about and what the advantages, disadvantages might be, just so that we have something to review ahead of time. It doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just.
Yeah. Oh, I'll definitely ask her for something and definitely send that out, you know, that Thursday before the meeting, if not sooner, so you guys have some time to review it. Oh, yeah.
Okay, perfect. That will be great. Okay, and the very last thing I think is we need to change a date for March 8th. Is that correct?
The FinCom is meeting on March 8th at 6 to discuss the budget. So we either need to meet way before that, or I don't think it'd be a good time to do after that. So I don't know, because who knows how long that meeting would take. So either change the date completely or just meet earlier.
Yeah, I have a feeling that's going to be probably a longer meeting. Can we meet if we think we can get, because I think we have a short agenda for the next one.
Well, for March we should. We don't, unless something comes in. I don't anticipate there being anything coming
Yeah,
before the
the only
board on-
unusual, right, thing is going to be Lori Sabal.
Yeah,
And that is going to be the meeting before that. So is everybody available to meet at 5? Well, I mean, what would you guys prefer to do? Would you like to move it earlier and just try to get it over with in an hour, or
5
move it
or
till
5,
later in the week?
go back to the 5:30.
I'm good with whatever you guys come up with. I'll be compliant.
Okay, because we were meeting
Okay,
at 5:30. What do you think?
right, but we'd have to move it up till 5, right?
at least
the,
because they,
Oh,
I'm sure they have to get their Zoom and everything. They do one at a time and everyone logs in earlier. So I would think
Okay.
you'd want to do even earlier than 5 if you want to get an hour meeting in.
okay.
I can tell
How
you about
about,
that.
Yeah, Cindy would know better.
can-
Yeah, we need a
Yeah,
half an hour.
absolutely.
We need a minimum of a half an hour in between meetings to close one
Okay.
down and get the other one going.
So that would push us to
Half
where?
an hour? Hey, jeez.
Yeah.
I
So
thought
are we talking-
computers should take care of all of this.
Like 4:30, is that what you're saying?
Computers and
Well,
people.
yeah, I know.
What time is the FinCom meeting?
6.
At 6, so you would have a hard stop at 5:30.
Is everybody available at 4:30, or is that just
That's,
too early?
I can do it at 4:30. I get home at 4, so that gives me just enough time.
Okay, what do you think? I'm fine with that. If you're okay with that, Steve, then it
Absolutely.
might be,
Like I said,
doing a
whatever
later
works.
meeting. Okay. Okay. All right.
So
whatever,
then that's
whatever works
what,
for everybody.
March 8th at 4:30?
at 4:30, yeah.
Yeah, we'll just pencil
Little
that in. If
early.
we change it at the next meeting, we can do that. I just wanted to make sure we had that set before I forgot when it was
Okay.
brought to my attention.
Okay, all right. Yeah, if you just check and make sure then that we're good for 4:30, we'll do the
Okay.
early bird special.
Very good.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you all for a lengthy but productive meeting.
Thank you.
Anyone in the mood to make any motions?
Move we adjourn.
Oh, I second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night. Thank you.